So your big campaign is finally over. The numbers are rolling in, the budget's been spent, and now you and every other executive are facing that one critical question: what really worked? Well, here's the thing. The answer you're getting is probably wrong. And today, we're going to find out exactly why, and more importantly, how you can use AI to fix it.
Here's what we've got lined up. We're going to start by exposing what I call the last click lie. Then we'll dig into why the old ways of doing things are just totally broken. After that, we'll see how AI uncovers the real story. We'll look at the smart tools you can use. I'll give you a simple 3-question action plan. And finally, we'll talk about how all of this gives you a serious executive edge.
All right, so let's jump right in. The very first thing we need to wrap our heads around is the villain of our story. It's seductive, but it's a dangerously misleading model called last-click attribution. Last-click logic is just dead simple. Whatever the customer touched last, right before they bought something, gets 100% of the credit. So that Google search ad, it looks like the hero who swooped in and closed the deal. But what about the rest of the team? The Instagram reel that first introduced them to your brand, the WhatsApp message that answered their question, that email that nudged them to come back. In the last click world, they all get a big fat zero. They did all the work, but the so-called hero got all the glory. Now you might be thinking, okay, this has kind of always been a problem, so what's the big deal now? The urgency now is because 3 massive forces have all collided at once, turning what used to be a small inaccuracy into a giant blind spot that is actively crushing your ROI. So what are these forces? First, you've got all the iOS privacy changes, right? They've basically thrown up huge walls hiding crucial steps in the customer's journey on mobile. Second, customers today are, well, they're complicated. They don't just see one ad and buy. The average journey has over 6 different touchpoints spread across who knows how many days and devices. And third, and this is the real kicker, despite all this complexity, over 2/3 of B2B marketing teams are still only looking at that final click. They're basically choosing to fly blind.
And let's be super clear, this isn't just some abstract data problem. This has a very, very real cost. Estimates show that marketers are wasting somewhere between 30 and 40% of their ad spend simply because their attribution model is pointing them in the completely wrong direction. That's a huge chunk of your budget just being allocated based on a lie. So, okay, if the old way is broken, how do we find the truth? This is where AI steps in. It doesn't just look at that final shot on goal. It analyzes the entire game to understand how the win actually happened. Think of it like this. Last-click logic is like watching a football match and only giving credit to the person who scored the goal. That's it. But AI is like a world-class sports analyst. It's watched thousands of games, and it understands that the perfect pass, the clever assist, and even that crucial defensive stop way back in your own half, they were all absolutely essential to that final goal. AI sees the teamwork. And how does it do this? Well, it really comes down to 2 main approaches. You've got Markov chain models, which ask a really simple, powerful question. If we took this one channel away completely, what would happen to our conversion rate? If it drops a lot, well, you know that channel was super important. Then you have Shapley value models, which come from game theory. They ask, across every possible combination of plays, what is the true value that each player, or in our case, each channel really brings to the team? Both get you way closer to the truth. You see, AI isn't just guessing. It's analyzing every single customer journey, not just the ones that ended in a sale, but also the ones that didn't, to find these hidden patterns. It can actually see which combinations of touchpoints lead to a sale versus a drop-off. And it does this by processing signals that are literally impossible for the human eye to spot. So how do we actually put this to work? Well, AI attribution powers 2 really smart frameworks for making decisions. The best way to think about it is having both a magnifying glass for the tiny details and a satellite for the huge big picture. On one hand, you've got multi-touch attribution, or MTA. This is your magnifying glass. It zooms in, tracks individual user paths, and it's absolutely perfect for making those daily tweaks and optimizing your campaigns while they're still live. On the other hand, you have marketing mix modeling, or MMM. This is your satellite view. It uses big picture, anonymized data to show you how all your different efforts, even offline ones, are working together. And that's essential for your high-level budget allocation and strategic planning. And this is exactly why MMM, that satellite view, is really becoming the strategic tool of choice. As all those privacy changes make tracking individuals harder and harder, look at this. Almost half of all marketers are planning to increase their investment in it. And more than a quarter already call it their most reliable method, because it gives them that clear, strategic view, even in a world without cookies. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you make it real? I'm going to give you a simple 3-question action plan that you can take into your very next performance review to start challenging how things are done. First step, ask this. Which channel brought us the most brand new customers? Last click reporting completely hides the answer to this. It only ever shows you who closed the deal, not who opened the door in the first place. An AI model, on the other hand, can tell you that in a second. Question number 2. What were our winning plays? Which specific combinations or sequences of touchpoints led to the fastest and the highest value sales? AI can instantly show you powerful patterns. Things like, hey, a meta reel followed by a Google search followed by a click on a WhatsApp link. That specific path converted at 3 times the rate of any other. You just can't see that with last click. And finally, the toughest but most important question of all. Which of our spending actually caused an increase in sales? We have to move beyond just seeing that 2 things happened at the same time. Did that channel truly generate new business that wouldn't have happened otherwise? Or were we just paying to talk to people who were going to buy from us anyway? This is about measuring true incremental lift. When you put all this together, you realize something really profound. This whole shift isn't just about getting a more accurate report. It's about transforming your measurement from a backward-looking report card into a forward-looking decision engine. This is the real competitive advantage. The companies that are going to win in 2026 won't just know what worked last month. They'll be using AI to identify the specific, golden combinations of channels, creative, and audiences that deliver these incredible, supernormal returns. And they'll be doubling down on them before their competitors even know they exist. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway. If you remember one thing, make it this. ROI measurement is not a reporting exercise. It is a budget decision tool. So the question is, are you using yours to just report on the past, or are you using it to win the future?